describe your emotions when you got that win?
Honestly, it was the best feeling of my life. I've never had such an experience like that. That was the culmination of many years of hard work, and just something that I never thought I'd get the chance to do. You know, I keep saying it, but when I started competing in this sport, Dana was still saying women will never fight in the UFC. I will never put a women's fight on in the octagon. And then here I am, you know, in Dublin in front of my people, my hometown, winning in the UFC. You know what I mean? I never thought I'd get here, and the way it happened, you know, to have such a great fight against such a tough opponent. And honestly, I enjoyed every single second of it. Every knee to the face, every up kick I took, I was smiling. You know, even in between round 2 and round 3, I honestly I didn't want the fight to end. I was like, is this all I get 3 rounds? I'd love 10.
What was it like, obviously, watching last year from the sidelines and then being in it this time round?
To be honest, missing it last year was completely miserable. It really upset me. It was so hard to sit in the Ultimate Fighter house, and I knew I had watched it. I was watching it a day late. Everything had happened. You know, there was, you know, I'm sending somebody positive vibes for yesterday. You know, it doesn't make a difference now, and the camera crews and stuff, and nobody's making eye contact with me because they all know the results. And it was heartbreaking, honestly. And then when obviously I got wind that the UFC card was coming to Dublin, I knew I was going to be on it. I knew there was no way that they were going to leave me out, you know, but I wasn't taking any chances. So I blew up Sean Shelby's phone. I started a Twitter campaign to get me on the card, and I started training. So basically, tonight is about the last 16 weeks of my life have been all about tonight. And people saw me. I came in the best shape of my life at the weigh-ins yesterday, and I had one of the best fights I've ever had in my career. It was amazing. It was an amazing experience. I loved every second of it.
This fight tonight, you just kicked straight out, didn't care what happened, went Don Fry style, swinging punches, swinging knees, completely different to Ashley Daly in the past. Did you feel there was an urgency, there needed to be an urgency in your performance?
I didn't feel
was it the crowd? You seemed like Zombie, Cranberries, every single person there was singing along with you.
That was amazing to hear everybody sing along with me. I didn't feel an urgency. I felt like I wanted to give the fans something to watch. I felt like I wanted to give them a performance. I wanted to impress them. People say to me, what's your fighting style? And I always say, I'm aggressive, I'm a finisher. I like to go out there and fight, and that's what I wanted to do. And I definitely went out there and done that, but at the same time I feel like I fought very smart. You know, I know she's a jiu-jitsu specialist. There was times where I could have maybe dove into guard and threw a whole bunch of ground and pound and maybe been fighting out of a submission. But I didn't. I wouldn't say I played it safe. I played it smart. You know, I landed my own shots and I took my time, and I just enjoyed it. Honestly, I was reveling in every minute of it, and it was one of those fights sometimes where things are a blur and I don't really know what's going on at the end. But I'm like, oh, I won that fight, but I don't really know what happened. But I could hear everything in the crowd. I could hear everything in my corner. You know, my coach gave me instructions. I was like, okay, John just said to do this, so you should do this now. No, I can't do that now. Her leg is not in the right place. Okay, I missed that. Wait and see what he says next. I'll just hang on here. Like, I literally am having these conversations in my head, like, oh, the crowd sounds really cool. Oh, this is amazing. I'm fighting in Dublin. Like, it was just like such a crazy experience. I've never had that for a fight before, so I just wanted to enjoy the whole thing, and I did. I enjoyed every single second. It was phenomenal.
Seems as a story every time the UFC come to Dublin. Last time it was the clean sweep that we had, and tonight, the even bigger story. You know, you going out there, you're getting your chance in Dublin. Paddy in the main event. What is it now where it seems that every time the UFC come to Dublin, before and in the future, there's going to be this huge Irish storyline for all the Irish fighters taking their pride?
I think it's the crowd behind us. You know, it's crazy when that support is behind us. It's literally almost like there's nothing that we can't do. You know, when we've all worked so hard for this. You know, like in the States, UFC has been around for a long time there, and there's a lot more opportunities to get yourself on a UFC card. Sometimes even in the past, it was kind of what gym you were from rather than how good your skills were. Whereas for us, we had to work so hard to put ourselves on the map to be noticed as a team of good fighters. And now we're here, and now we're just taking everything we can. We're just reveling in it. We want to perform well. We want to collect those bonuses. We want to entertain the fans. You know, that Crow Park gig, we want that. We want 90,000 screaming fans with Conor as the main event, Paddy as the co-main, himself in the main card, whatever. We want that, and we're going to bring in the numbers for the UFC. And like I said, I just think it's the support behind us. There's nothing the Irish people can't do when we all get together. When you think of some of the biggest companies in the world, and if you look at who the CEOs are and all that kind of stuff, we just tend to get our way in there. You know, we start at the bottom, we work hard, and eventually we work our way to the top. And that seems to be what's happened in the UFC as well. You know what I mean? Like with a performance like that tonight, and I honestly feel like it was a sloppy performance for me. I know I can do a lot better, and I just feel like, all right, strawweights, you're all on notice. I'm here. I cut to 115. I have it dialed down. Perfect. I have cardio for days. Did you see me in round 3 bouncing around? I'm coming for that belt. That's mine.
Is that the thing? Putting the challenges out there every time you get, you know, Croke Park's the next big challenge for you guys. Is that something that, you know, allows you to see the clear path, you know, where you guys have got to go, and it just kind of helps you, you know, visualize where you have to be?
Yeah, definitely. You know, how you know where you're going if you don't have a map? So to have a map going, okay, well this is it. You know, we could potentially have, in the space of a year, a huge Croke Park show with 2 or 3 Irish people fighting for belts. All, you know, who's not going to want to see that? You know what I mean? People all over the world will come to see that. Definitely the Irish people will be there. It will be phenomenal. It'll be amazing. It'll make huge money for the UFC. It'll be huge for the Irish people. It'll be used for just MMA the world over. It'd be phenomenal for this tiny little island that we just bring in this whole rake of champions. Not even this tiny island, this one gym with like, that started off a little handful of me and a couple of guys in a shed going, it's this MMA stuff, let's give it a go. Like, crazy.
Ash, you look good, you know, all week on fight week. You know, you were happy, you were in good form. The weight cut seemed to be a breeze this time. You know, talk to me about the preparation and leading up to the fight. Did everything go a lot easier than it has in the past for you?
To be honest, everything was going pretty hard, and I was struggling kind of the way I normally do. And then I was introduced to a girl called Lindsay Doyle. She's a former Irish kickboxer. She's a personal trainer, strength and conditioning coach, and she just helped me out. The last 3 weeks, she's just put so much time and effort into me. And honestly, in the last 3 weeks, she changed this camp from being my usual, oh my God, I'm gonna die making 115, to basically being like, okay, do this, this, and this. And I've just, you've seen the performance, like she had 3 weeks to make that happen. I cannot wait to see what she's going to do with me when she has, you know, 12, 16
Yeah, I was
weeks.
going to say that. Are you going to kick on now and really,
oh, definitely,
you know, make a push for the title?
She's my secret ingredient to make me world champion. Without, she just came along at the perfect time, and it's that time when I've been so positive and so upbeat, and honestly things have just seemed to align themselves where you know, everything's just come together for me perfectly. The cut was always the issue. I was never performing the way I do in the gym in fights, and that's not even an issue anymore. So this is it. This is Ash 6.0. You're gonna see better performances than tonight from now on. That's it.
When you look at the division, what do you make of the current champion, Jacek? How many more fights do you think you need? Because obviously it's a weight class that's still developing, and there's other fighters that are getting title shots, obviously a couple of wins. And who do you think makes sense for you next?
I think she's a fantastic fighter. I think she's a great striker. You know, her takedown defense is really good. She's definitely a legitimate champion. I do think the strawweight division is so all over the place. You know, we're such a new division that it's kind of at the stage where we're all floating all over the place. The Ultimate Fighter, I think, messed up a lot of the girls. You know, it wasn't an accurate depiction of skill set. It was almost who survived best in a pressure cooker environment. So I think over the next little while the division will sort itself out a little bit. I honestly don't know who they'll give me next, and to be honest I don't care. I've never been about that. I'll fight anybody anytime. You know, I was supposed to be fighting Claudia, and she was the big deal at the time, and you know, she pulled out of that fight and it didn't happen. But I'm never on the back foot from anybody, so whoever the UFC want to give me, that'll make me happy. And potentially the division is so small, it'll just be 1 or 2 more months, and then I'll be straight in there looking for a title shot anyway. You know, I think I'd be a great fight for Joanna.
Do you think this fight still makes sense for you?
Which fight, sorry?
The fight against Claudia still makes sense?
It could make sense for me, especially now with the new systems in place for, you know, the USADA stuff. I'd be a lot more comfortable fighting her in that situation than I would have been previously. So yeah, like I said, I'll fight anybody. But USADA, no USADA, you know, everybody knows that there is people in the division who abuse PEDs, and you know, even before I started fighting in the UFC, there was constantly girls who were breaking the rules and whatever. So it is what it is. You know, the UFC are doing a great job trying to clean it up, and I have faith that they're doing all that they can, and I'll just turn up and fight. If the UFC say they're clean, then I'm going to turn up and ready to go.